Hare Krishna. I'm Namita Purohit. Today is 28th December. It's 9:10 p.m. And I am here with a Bhagavad Gita summary of the 10th, 11th, and 12th chapters today from the section of Bhakti Yoga in the Bhagavad Gita. And after this, we will have 6 more chapters left to cover. Um, I'm here because I've been doing a series of the Bhagavad Gita overview where we've covered so many different chapters, 9 chapters and a midpoint check until yesterday. And today we do 10, 11, and 12. The purpose of this program is so that we all read the Bhagavad Gita. And as I make progress here with each and every chapter with you all, then we all get a chance to read the Bhagavad Gita. So as I covered ninth chapter yesterday, everyone's homework was to read the ninth chapter. Today, 10th, 11th, and 12th. So your homework is to read the 10th, 11th, and 12th. Tomorrow we'll do 13th and 14th. 15th is already recorded. It's already in the playlist in the description. And then we'll do 16, 17, and 18 on the 30th, Krishna willing. Having said that, I'm very grateful to all of you for giving me a chance to come and present this because it gives me a chance to read, it gives me a chance to prepare, it gives me a chance to hear again from the teachers and make these presentations for you. And thank you very, very much for doing that. And it's also helping me in informing my life for 2024. All the plans that I've made and all the things that I've done, and this study of the Bhagavad Gita with all of you is helping me to guide me in my life so that I can also attempt to engage in Nishkam Karma Yoga and devotion. So thank you very much for that. And having said that, let's start with screen sharing here. And let me go. Where is the way to do this? Let me see. This is news layout is too small. Okay, let me do this one. Yeah. So here we are with Bhagavad Gita chapters overview. Today we'll do 10, 11, and 12. I'll put it in the presentation mode so we can all see clearly. And here we go. So chapter 10, like Krishna ends the 9th chapter with a very beautiful shloka, which is Manmana Bhava Madbhakto Madhyaji Nam Mam Namaskuru. And Krishna is telling Arjuna that please, worship me with your body, mind, and soul. Engage yourself in my worship. Think about me, serve me. And that's what he has introduced Arjuna to in the 9th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Ending of the 9th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, that engage your mind always in thinking about me. Become my devotee, offer obeisances to me, and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. And that's what Krishna is saying in the Bhagavad Gita in the 9th chapter. And Arjuna is wondering about what Krishna has just said, and he is wondering about, he's in his mind. What's going on there is that in chapter 10 now, Krishna will then describe the opulence, not going on in his mind, but in chapter 10, Krishna will describe the opulence by which the devotee of the Lord can focus, can follow 9.34. How can they fix their mind on Krishna? Arjuna has understood that I have to fix my mind on Krishna. So how can I fix my mind on Krishna? How to remember him? When we see opulent, powerful, and beautiful things in the world, we learn after the 10th chapter to connect all of that with Krishna. So, in the 7th chapter, Krishna has taught us a little bit about how, by seeing things in the world, you can connect with him. In the 9th chapter, also, he's given some details. And in the 10th chapter, Krishna goes like in great detail describing his opulences. And there is another, so that, understanding Krishna's unknowability, one serves him. That's the first section, and we'll cover the details of that. Then in the 10th chapter, there's a very beautiful section, which is also called as the Chatushloki Gita. There's the entire Bhagavad Gita in 4 verses, and that's from 10.8 to 10.11. And then Arjuna then accepts, in 11 verses, he accepts Krishna's opulence and then position. And then he says, Krishna, I want to hear more about you. Can you please tell me? Yes. And he refers to the previous authorities. He says, everyone is, glorifying you. Can you tell me more? And then 10:19 to 42, Krishna describes his opulences in various different categories. Yes. And then he ends with a very classic punchline. And that's what brings us to the 11th chapter. So let's get to 10.1 to 10.7. And Krishna's unknowability makes us want to serve him. That's the this particular section. And for those of you who want to read along, who want to follow along, I have put the links to the Bhagavad Gita, entire Bhagavad Gita online from vedabase.com. The playlist link is also there for all the lectures that we're covering. Then you could refer back to them. And also at the bottom, after all my links, there is the link to Gauranga Priya Prabhu's notes, which I have referred to in making some of these presentations. So you have access to all of that. Okay. So in text 1, Krishna says that listen again, O mighty arm Arjuna, because you are my dear friend, for your benefit, I shall speak to you further, giving knowledge that is better than what I have already explained. Earlier it said after hearing this, you don't need to know anything else. Now Krishna is telling, I want to say more to you because you're my devotee and friend. It's like, if your friend comes to you, they're asking you for something, and you give that to them, and then you think more and more, and then you're like, no, I want to help my friend a little more, and I want to help them a little more. And that's what Krishna is doing, that because you're my friend, for your benefit, I'm going to speak to you further. And then he says, neither the hosts of the demigods nor the great sages know my origin or opulences. Why? Because I'm their source, right? For in every respect, I am the source of the Devis and Devatas and all these amazing sages. And that person, and this is similar to the Janma Karma Chame with Divyam Evam Yo Veti Tatpataha Tyaktva Devham Punarjanma Naiti Mameti Su Arjuna. We've read this verse in the previous chapters, the fourth chapter, where, like, one who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and disappearance in due course, one who knows me in this way will never, and my activities will never take birth again. And text 3, Krishna's again emphasizing that he who knows me as the unborn, giving a little bit more glimpse into his opulence. Unborn, it's not like, we take birth, then we grow, then we kind of maintain, then we start dwindling, then we get into old age, and then we die. There are like so many, and we produce byproducts also. There are 6 transformations that we go through. Krishna doesn't go through any of that. He doesn't go through the cycle of birth, disease, old age, and death. He's eternal. He's always there, right? And those who know him like that he's beginningless, and he's the supreme lord of all the worlds. We went through that yesterday in the 9th chapter with the explanation of all the Vishnus and the expansions and things like that, and how the Lord is Sarva Loka Maheshwara, 5th chapter ending. Then he only, deluded among men, is all freed from all sin. So one who knows the Lord is unborn, beginningless, and the Lord of all the worlds, and such a person is not deluded and is freed from all sins and is eligible to the ultimate abode. That's not mentioned in this verse, but that's the implication. And then Krishna says that I have created these qualities: intelligence, knowledge, freedom from doubt and delusion, forgiveness, truthfulness, control of the senses, control of the mind, happiness, distress, birth, death, fear, fearlessness, non-violence, equanimity, satisfaction, austerity, charity, fame, and infamy. All these various qualities of living beings are created by me alone. Krishna said, like, these qualities that we appreciate in others are created by Krishna, right? And then so when we see these qualities in somebody, then we know that it's coming from Krishna, and we appreciate the person for being a container of those qualities, and we appreciate Krishna, and we remember Krishna when we see these qualities. And then he says that the 7 great sages, and before them the 4 other great sages and the Manus, they all came from me, born from my mind, and all the living beings populating the various planets descend from them. So all this population, also the chief creators, they've all come from me. I have created them. And one who is factually convinced of my opulence and mystic power of mine engages in unalloyed devotional service unto me. Of this there is no doubt. So how can we do 9.34? Man mana bhava madbhakto madhyaji nam namaskuru, by knowing the opulences of the Lord. And then comes the Chatu Shloki Gita that the Lord explains here. So when we understand who Krishna is, we naturally surrender, right? Say if you're watching a fantastic stage performance, right? I like to watch live shows, live music, live dance performances, things like that. And when you go for that, and when you see a stupendous performance by the musician or the singer, the dancer, or the person speaking on the stage, you're just amazed by them. You're so amazed by them that you feel humbled by, in being in their presence, like, wow, look at this opulence, right? So, similarly, when we know Krishna's opulence, we feel humbled by that, and then we want to surrender unto him. He's like, wow, he's the Lord of all the lords. He's, the Lord of all the worlds. He's everything. Correct? Then comes the Chatushloki Gita, the Gita in 4 verses, very beautifully done by, of course, the Lord Krishna, and very beautifully explained to us by the Acharya so that we can understand this is the Chatushloki Gita. So then Krishna again gives a summary of 1 to 7, and he says in verse 8 that I am the source of all the spiritual and material worlds. Everything. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me in their hearts, with all their hearts. So let's chant the shloka. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita. Yes. So those who know this, they worship me with all their hearts. And then he says, text 9, he's summarizing that one who knows him and who's worshipping him, how do they worship him? And he says that the thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. So he says, Machitta Madgata Prana Bodhayanta Parasparam. Right? So they are Bodhayanta Parasparam. They are talking about Krishna's beautiful qualities, enlightening one another with his beautiful qualities. And Kathayantascha Mam Nityam, always talking about me, my pastimes, my glories, Nam Rupa Guna Lila. Tushyanti cha Ramanti cha. They are feeling satisfied. Tushyanti, right? Ramanticha. They're enlightening and they are feeling, they're santusht, tushyanti. They're deriving great satisfaction and ramanti, bliss, by talking about me. Now, what are we talking about? And what are those people talking about? We're talking about reels, TikTok पे ये देखा, वहाँ पे ये किया, इधर वो हुआ, अरे वो वीडियो देखा क्या, अरे OTT पे ये देखा क्या, Netflix पे ये देखा क्या, इस पे वो देखा क्या. That's what we talk about. But what are these people talking about with their friends? So it's a goal for us to have that gradually we must, as we know about Krishna, as we try to know him, understand him, then we try to converse more about him. Yes. Then text 10. So Krishna is talking about his reciprocation with such devotees. How does he reciprocate with these devotees? What does he do? And this is beautiful. And when you get a chance, please read. Of course, you have to read all the purports by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. They are all very, very amazing. But what he explains in 1010 and what Srila Prabhupada talks about in 1010 and 1011 is amazing. And it can give you a lot of shelter when you are feeling low in your life. I have taken a lot of shelter from these purports of Srila Prabhupada 1010 1011 whenever I am a little dejected, a little not feeling so good, a little discouraged, a little fearful. When I read this, it gives me great faith, gives me great confidence, and it helps me continue in my service. So text 10 is Tesham Satata Yuktanam Bhajatam Priti Purvakam Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam Yinamam Upayantite. So to those who are constantly devoted to serving unto me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. Right? So sometimes someone may wonder that, I don't understand all these complex things of the Bhagavad Gita. She's doing all this presentation, she's talking about themes and this and that. How can other people understand? Okay, I can understand a little bit, but how can other people understand, etc. And Krishna is telling that if they just are constantly devoted to serving him with unalloyed devotion, with love, Krishna will give them the realization in their heart and the understanding by which they can come to him. Right? So please read the purport. Very nice. And then text 11. How does he give them the understanding by which he can come to him? Because then he says, Tesham evanukampartam aham ajnana jamtama nashyamyat bhavasto jnana deepena bhasvataha. Right? So to show them special mercy, I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy with a shining lamp of knowledge. I give them the knowledge by which they come to me, and all the darkness that is there in the heart because of avidya, ignorance, I destroy it. right? So that is what the Lord does for his unalloyed devotees. So when your Lord sees our devotion, the Lord reciprocates by giving us a knowledge by which we can take the next step, and he shows us the path. And with the shining light of knowledge, he destroys all the ignorance in our heart. So this process is very easy compared to the meditative process, or compared to the Buddhist process, where there is no God concept, right? It's all about endeavor, endeavor, endeavor. There is no reciprocation. There is no mercy. I was once reading a Buddhist book in like 2014. Uh, Somebody recommended it to me because they had read it and they were a close friend of mine, and they were like, Namita, I really want you to read this. And I was like, just to honor them, I accepted that book. And then they wanted to ask me, like, what do I feel about like certain chapters of the book, etc. And they wanted to discuss it further. So just to please them, because they were my friends, I read it, and I read like the first two chapters, and I was like, I'm done. I can't read this. Why can't I read this? Because it's just like endeavor, control the mind, meditate, do this, do that. And there's no rasa. There is no loving exchange. There is no mercy principle. There is no connection. There is no reciprocation with the Lord happening over there. There's no reciprocation from the Lord being experienced over there. And it was very dry and dull. And then I told my friend that, I really wanted to read it for you because you're my friend and you wanted me to read it. But the thing is, I can't go beyond certain chapters because I see this is atheistic. I see there is no connection with the Lord. And it's very difficult for me to follow this process of, controlling the mind without any reciprocation. And here there is so much reciprocation from the Lord. And we talked about some stories yesterday, where it energizes us to, when we take one step towards Krishna, Krishna is taking 10 steps towards us. Then we get all excited. Then we take another step, and then Krishna takes another 10 steps towards us. And that the beauty of that relationship, it's not a reciprocation like मैंने ये किया तो भगवान ने मुझे क्या दिया. Not that kind. It's just the beauty of the relationship, that the bliss that you experience in a relationship with the Lord. And that is absent in so many other philosophies. And that is what Krishna is saying, that this is how I reciprocate. Right? Now, in section 3, 12 to 18, Arjuna accepts Krishna's position and requests more to hear about his opulences, right? And then Arjuna says, and he, like you can read this on your own, and he says that, Krishna, everyone's glorifying you. Everyone's, talking about you. And he said that you're the original personality or the ultimate sages like Narad, Ashita, Devala, Vyasa, everyone can confirm this truth about you. And then I accept everything about you, whatever you've told me, and none of us can understand you. And then he says that you alone know yourself by your internal potency. We cannot know you. And you are the God of gods. You're the Lord of the universe. He accepts the Lord's supremacy. And then he says, please tell me in detail all your divine opulences by which you pervade all of these worlds. Then he says, O Krishna, O supreme mystic, how shall I constantly think of you? And how shall I know you? In what various forms are you to be remembered, O Supreme Lord? And please describe in detail all of these things. And I'm never satiated in hearing about you. For the more I hear about you, the more I want to taste the nectar of your words. So beautiful, huh? The way Arjuna is speaking here with so much love, so much reverence, so much surrender, and so much excitement, like a devotee. Yes. So then Krishna starts talking about in text 19 onwards that, okay, now I'll tell you all I will tell you my splendorous manifestations, but only some of the prominent ones, because my opulence is limitless, Arjuna. I'm only telling you some prominent ones because you asked, right? And then it's described that there are sections here from text 10, 20 to 39. Krishna describes all of his opulences, and he describes in different categories. So he describes his opulences within the devatas, then within law and crime, the qualities of people, the nature, sages, humans, and kings. Which one is more dear? Like he says, of all the Pandavas, you Dhananjaya, Arjuna, you're the most, like, you represent me. You're my opulence. Then all the animals, the philosophical truths, and the Vedic mantras. Which vibrations, So here explains how we can see him everywhere. So the 19 shlokas, you can read it at your own leisure. I'll cover a couple of them. just so that you get an idea. But there are these so many different nine different categories in which Krishna describes his opulences, right? So whenever we see Krishna, whenever we see these opulences, we can remember Krishna. I have been told that we still have the month of Margashirsha on till January 3rd. And Krishna says, of all the months, I am Margashirsha, I think. That's what he says, right? So whenever we see anything, the existence of this person, this tree, this building, everything rests upon Krishna. And nothing exists without him. So let's read a few of his opulences because it's so much pleasurable to glorify the Lord. When he says, of the Adityas, I am Vishnu. Of the lights, of all the lights, I am the radiant sun. Of the Maruts, I am Marichi. And among the stars, I am the moon. Of the Vedas, I am the Samaved. Of the demigods, I am Indra, the king of heaven. Of the senses, I am the mind. And in living beings, I am the living force, consciousness, right? Of the Rudras, I am Lord Shiva. Of the Yakshas and Rakshasas, I am the Lord of wealth. Of the Vasus, I am fire, Agni. And of mountains, I am Meru. So when we are, of the Vasus, I am fire, Agni. When you're doing Yagya, Agni is a representative of Krishna, Vishnu, right? And of the priests, know me to the chief Brihaspati. Of the generals, I am Kartikeya, the son of Lord Shiva. And of bodies of water, I am the ocean. So in anything that you see, the topmost of that particular quality of the water, what is the biggest, the largest, the deepest? It's the ocean. That is Krishna. Of all the generals, who's the most powerful? Kartikeya. Of all the gurus, who is the chief? Brihaspati. And when the top of all represent, Krishna says that I am that. And of course, his potency and his, he's blessed us with all his abilities, blessed all of us with his abilities in different proportion, depending upon our ability to contain them. And any ability you see in yourself, anything you see in others, remember it's a reflection of Krishna, it's energy of Krishna, right? And then he says, of the great sages, I am Brigu. Of the vibrations, I am the transcendental Om. Of sacrifices, I am the chanting of the holy names, right? So we may think I have to do this yagya, that yagya, this agnihotra, etc. And of all the sacrifices, Krishna says that Nama Japa, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. That is the highest. And of the immovable things, I am the Himalayas. And so on. Krishna goes on till text 30. And please read Srila Prabhupada's purports also. And then Krishna, after speaking this verse, which by itself, so then Krishna says that there is no end to my opulence. And this is not an arrogant statement. He's just saying what it is, right? That there is no end to my opulence. I'm just trying to scroll to the next shloka, text 40, that he says that there is no end to my divine manifestations, Arjuna. And what I have spoken to you is but a mere indication of my infinite opulences, just a mere indication, very small, right? And he says that know that all opulent, beautiful, and glorious creations spring from but a spark of my splendor. Krishna explains that this is just a spark. And like Arjuna's like, wow, Krishna. And Krishna's like, yeah, I agree with you, but this is just a spark of my splendor. Just a little bit, not even a trailer. I've just given you like a little bit of, what it is. And then, but Krishna, what do you need? Like Arjuna, what need is there of all this knowledge, this detailed knowledge? Because with a single fragment of myself, I pervade the entire universe, right? We had some little bit of language there in the ninth chapter where I pervade the entire universe with a little bit of my splendor and things like that. And that's where that's where chapter 10 ends. Yes? So now let's look at chapter 11. That's where 11 starts. And I'll just take a little bit of a break, a water break, and I'll just be back. Yes. So then comes chapter 11. So Krishna is ending chapter 10 saying that just by a little bit of my splendor, I pervade the entire universe with a single fragment of myself. So Arjuna is like, what is that fragment of yours that pervades the entire universe? Please show me, Krishna. And although Krishna is driving Arjuna's chariot, he's still pervading and supporting all the universes. And Arjuna wants to know how. Arjuna wants to see that all pervading form of the Lord. And therefore, after two introductory verses, this Arjuna asks Krishna to reveal his universal form, which is also the Virat Rupa. Some temples have a deity of the Virat Rupa, and it's very beautiful to go and see that. There are two very distinct memories that I have of seeing a darshan of the Virat Rupa. One is in the Los Angeles temple. There is a Bhagavad Gita museum in the ISKCON temple there, the Radha Dwarkadish Mandir. And in that, there's a very beautiful Bhagavad Gita museum, so beautifully done. And when they come to the 11th chapter, then there's such a beautiful depiction of the 11th chapter and the Virat Rupa of the Lord. Another very beautiful Virat Rupa I have seen is in Mumbai, in the Babulnath Mandir near Chopati, where there is an ISKCON Mandir at Chopati in Mumbai, Girgaon Chopati, but opposite that, like on the lane opposite that, is the Babulnath Mandir. That's a Lord Shiva Mandir. But in that, when you go, there's a very beautiful deity of the Virat Rupa form of the Lord. Very beautiful. And you feel so blessed when you stand in front of him, right? So here we go. Chapter 11 has 5 sections where Arjuna makes a request about his universal form, and then Krishna starts granting that request. And then Sanjaya is also looking at the universal form. So he's giving a live description to Dhritarashtra. So then Sanjaya starts describing Arjuna's vision. And then text 32 to 34, Krishna talks about time, the energy of time. And then Arjuna prays to the Virat Rupa, and then he also, he feels a little embarrassed that how was I treating you like a friend, and I was lying down on the same bed as you. Now, you're my charioteer, and I didn't respect you properly. So please forgive me. You're such a, so much opulence is there. And then how then Arjuna is like bewildered by seeing that form. And he's like, I want your Soumya Vapu. I want to see your two-handed form again. I can't handle this very Virat pervasing, all-pervading form. So that's how it goes. And then this is section 1, verses 1 to 8. And the key is here is that Arjuna is asking that Krishna, if you think I am qualified, and if you think I can see that all pervasive form of the Lord, then Krishna, please show me, Krishna. I really want to see that Virat form of the Lord. If you think it's appropriate for me, right? I wish to see. If you think I'm able to handle it, behold your cosmic form, then kindly show me that unlimited universal self. And then Krishna says that, my dear, like, see now, I'll show you all my opulences. And then you'll see the different manifestations of the Adityas, Vasus, Rudras, Ashwini Kumaras, other demigods. You'll see all of that. But whatever you wish to see, you will see that. And you will also be able to see the future, Krishna says. But then Krishna says that you cannot see with your present eyes. Yes, you need divyam dadami te chakshu. I'll give you the divine eyes, the divine vision by which you can see. And that divine vision is also given to Sanjaya. And then Sanjaya starts describing the universal form of the Lord and what Arjuna is seeing and what Arjuna is experiencing to Dhritarashtra. Yes. So here and you can see a picture here where, this Vasus, Rudras, Adityas, some of them you're able to see, able to see the Ananta Shesha there. And then there are some more depictions here with the Lord with the different weapons and the fire and, all of that. So here, there is this beautiful description which you all can read from text 9 to 31. We'll do a quick overview where Arjuna is seeing unlimited mouths, eyes, and wonderful visions. And there are many, many ornaments. And there are many, many different types of weapons. And there are many celestial garlands and big, huge garments. Many divine scents are coming from his body, from the Lord's body. And everything is very wondrous, very unlimited, very expanding. And then there are hundreds of thousands of sun. They were as if if they rise together, then that is the brilliance and the radiance of this beautiful universal form of the Lord. And then he can see the unlimited expansions of all the universes situated in one place. We talked about yesterday, there are millions of universes emanating from the body of Mahavishnu. And Arjuna is able to see all those universes in the form of the Lord. and his hair is standing on end, and he's offering obeisances, and he starts praying. That I can see all the Devis and Devatas and all the living entities. I can see, even see Brahma. I can see Lord Shiva. I can see all the sages, all the divine sermons. And I can see many, many arms, bellies, mouths, eyes, everything. I see there is no end, middle, beginning. It's just so vast. It's so huge, right? And I can't see very clearly because it's so bright. There is so much effulgence. It's spreading like a blazing fire. As you can see in this diagram, there is like the effulgence is spreading like a fire in this picture. That is what Arjuna says. And it is, there is a glowing from everywhere. And you are the supreme primal objective of all of us. You are the ultimate resting place of all of this universe. And you are inexhaustible by seeing this form. And you're the oldest, right? And you're the maintainer of the eternal religion, Sanatan Dharma. This is my opinion. And and again he's talking about the blazing fire coming from the Lord's mouth, burning this entire universe with the radiance. And then again he's telling you, spreading from the sky, planets, space between. There is no space that's not occupied by you. And the planet, and when somebody sees something like this, the planetary systems are perturbed. All the Devis and Devatas are standing surrendering before you. Some are feeling scared and offering prayers with folded arms. I can even see that. And the sages and beings are saying all peace, Om Shanti. And they're singing Vedic hymns and praying to you, glorifying you. And they're all beholding you in wonder, right? And then he talks about that even the Devis and Devatas are getting disturbed because there's so many thighs, so many arms, so many legs, so much of everything. And there's so many terrible teeth that are there, oh Lord. Let's go. I think I moved further here. Yeah, right? There's so many different teeth. There's a blazing fire, so many different teeth I'm seeing. Your terrible teeth. And then Vishnu, I'm seeing your radiant colors are touching the sky, your gaping mouths, your great glowing eyes. I'm so scared. I cannot maintain my steadiness or equilibrium of the mind. And then he again talks about teeth. He sees the blazing death-like faces, Lord, and I'm seeing your teeth again. And it's like something, he's emphasizing it again and again. And he's like, I'm bewildered. And Krishna, I can see all the sons of Dhritarashtra along with their allied kings and Bhishma, Drona, Karna, and our chief soldiers also. They're rushing into your fearful mouth. And some I see trapped with heads smashed between your teeth. And then he says that just like the rivers flow to the ocean, similarly, these warriors are entering into your blazing mouths and your teeth, right? And they're running with full speed, just like moths dash into flames. And you're devouring everyone from all sides with your flaming mouths. You're covering everything and manifesting all of this terrible scorching rays. Oh, Krishna, tell me, you have such a fierce form. Please tell me who you are. I offer my obeisances unto you. Please be gracious to me. You're the primal Lord. I want to know about you because I don't understand what your mission is after I see this. Right? So he has described the Lord as Kala Rupa, as time, as all devouring time, and how all of these kings on the opposite side are going to die because Krishna had told Arjuna in the beginning of this chapter, you will also see the future in this universal form. Like if you can see here in this diagram, like, you see how like they're all going towards the Lord's mouth and the blazing fire inside, right? And that's again further description. So then Krishna explains in text 32 to 34, and Krishna in the form of universal time as Kala Rupa, he says two verses to Arjuna. And he says, time I am, the great destroyer of the worlds, and I've come here to destroy all people. With the exception of you, the Pandavas, all the soldiers here on both sides will be slain. Yes? He's telling everyone's going to be dead. And then he says the classic verse, Tasmat tvam uttishto yasho labhasva, jitva shatrun bhungshva rajyam samriddham, mayaivate nihata purvameva, nimitta matram bhavya savya sachin. Nimitta matram bhava savya sachin. So therefore, get up. Prepare to fight with glory. I have already won the war. Anyway going to destroy everyone. But I'm giving you a chance to act in the line of dharma, to conquer your enemies and enjoy a flourishing kingdom. They are already put to death by my arrangement. And you, O Savyasachi, Nimitta Matram Bhava Savyasachi, become an instrument and fight. Yes? So I have this pen. This pen is an instrument for me to write what my thoughts are, what's going on in my head. Yes? And there are so many instruments like that. I have this mic in front of me. This is an instrument for me to project my voice, correct? And give a good quality audio to all of you. So similarly, we all also have a chance to become a Nimit Matra in the goal of the Lord, in the purpose of the Lord, by engaging ourselves in devotional service and serving the Lord's purpose, glorifying the Lord, serving the Lord, and bringing more and more people towards the Lord, we also get a chance to be an instrument. So here Krishna is telling Arjuna, the war is won. All of them are going to die. It's going to happen. You want to participate and take the credit? Go for it. Become a participant. Become an instrument and fight. And similarly, the holy names, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, will be chanted in every town and city. That is a prophecy, correct? Town and village by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now that's going to happen whether you participate or not. But if we participate, we get to be in that bliss. We get to be as an instrument in that service to the Lord. It's anyway going to happen because it's the Lord's word. It's the word of the devotees of the Lord. It's anyway going to happen whether you participate or not. But when you participate, you become a Nimit Matra, an instrument through which it is happening. So it is our greatest fortune that we can get a chance to participate and become a part of it. So, so how do you want to be an instrument in the hands of the Lord? You don't have to do very big things. Sometimes just taking care of your prescribed duties properly with consciousness of the Lord itself is a great service to the Lord. Yes. And then Krishna is telling, Drona, Bhishma, Jayadratha, Karna, and all the great warriors have already been destroyed by me. I'm showing you the future. So therefore, kill them and do not be disturbed. Simply fight and you will vanquish your enemies in battle. And imagine Sanjaya is saying all of this to Dhritarashtra, right? And how is Dhritarashtra feeling? What is he feeling there, right? So then Sanjaya says to Dhritarashtra that, O king, after hearing these words from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the trembling Arjuna offered obeisances with folding hands again and again, and he fearfully spoke to Lord Krishna in a faltering voice as follows. Yes, so now we are on text 36, where Arjuna starts speaking. So basically, here, in by saying this, Krishna is motivating Arjuna to fight in accordance to the Lord's plan, right? And get the credit of being the Lord's instrument, right? And then Arjuna starts praying and he recognizes that Krishna's action is good for everyone. And after hearing from Krishna about the outcome of the battle, he, you know, and the response, like he feels a little better. And the demigods and the devis and the devatas, everyone, um, and like he, okay, sorry, let me read the text. It's easier for me that way, right? He says that, O master of the senses, the world becomes joyful upon hearing your name, text 36, and thus everyone becomes attached to you. Although the perfected beings offer you respectful homage, the demons are afraid and they're fleeing here and there. So, those who are surrendered to the Lord are happy to be with the Lord. They don't feel scared of the universal form, but the demons, they flee. And all this is rightly done. Whatever you're doing is perfect, Krishna. And, you are the invincible source. You're the cause of all causes. So, he glorifies Krishna further. And then he says that I now understand how this whole cosmic manifestation is pervaded by you by just a spark of a little bit of your, expansion, right? And everything is coming from you. And I offer my obeisances unto you 1,000 times, and obeisances to you from the front, from behind, from all sides. O unbounded power, you're the master of limitless might. You're all pervading, right? And then he is feeling a little sad. He's like, I thought of you as a friend. And I've rashly addressed you as Krishna, Yadav, my friend, not knowing you're so supreme and so way beyond all of us. And please forgive if I may have done something in madness or love. I have dishonored you so many times as we relaxed. I've joked with you. I lay on the same bed with you, or sat or we ate together, sometimes alone, sometimes in front of so many friends. I've said so many things to you. Please excuse me for all these mistakes I've done, because I see, my God, your power here. And no one is greater than you. And then he says that he offers his obeisances, and then he says, just like the father tolerates the mistakes of his son, you also please forgive me. Please tolerate, all the wrongs I may have done to you. Yes. And as a spouse, one spouse tolerates the familiarity of the other spouse. Similarly, please forgive me. Right. And then Krishna, I am seeing this form. It's amazing. I've never seen before. So I'm very happy and grateful to you. It's very scary, Krishna. I can't handle it. So can you please go back to your two-handed form, the Saumya Vapu of Shyama Sundar? Can you come back to that, please? I wish to see that, in your four-handed form. And then, first he requests him in the two-handed form. Reveal your form as a personality of God and Lord of Lords of the universe. So basically, he first asks Krishna to show the Narayan form, the four-handed form. And then Krishna says, happily, I have shown you, and no one ever has seen this form. And no one ever will see this universal form of mine again. And neither by studying the scriptures nor by performing sacrifices, etc., they can see. They can't see this in the material world. And I understand you're bewildered. So now let this form be finished. And with a peaceful mind, you can see the form you desire. So Krishna first goes to the his four-handed form, and then he comes back to his two-handed form, and then Arjuna again becomes comfortable and not fearful anymore. And then he says that after seeing this human like form of yours, I'm feeling so composed in my mind, and I'm restored to my original nature. I'm not fearful anymore. And then Krishna says that this form of mind that even now you're seeing is also difficult to behold. Yes. And then he goes on and he says that this form that you're seeing with your transcendental eyes, right? Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena, that only with the eyes which are ointed by the ointment of love can we really understand the Lord and perceive the Lord in front of us. And you can see it because nobody by reading the Vedas or anyone can understand it. It is only by your devotion that you can see, right? By undivided devotional service, that you can understand me as I am, as I'm standing in front of you, and can be seen directly, like that. And therefore, Krishna says that, my dear Arjuna, beautiful shloka he ends is, my dear Arjuna, he who engages in my pure devotional service, free from the contaminations of fruitive activities and mental speculations, he who works for me and who makes me the supreme goal of life, right? That's what he says here. Uh, the last shloka. He who works for me, who makes me the supreme goal of his life, and who's friendly to every living being, he certainly comes to me. So Krishna is then giving this verse, text 55, is considered as the essence of the Bhagavad Gita. Because anyone who wants to approach the Supreme must stick to this formula, which is given in text 55, which is engage in pure devotional service, free from the contamination of what do I get out of this, what is in it for me, and mental speculation, and just work for Krishna as an instrument and make Krishna the supreme goal of life. Then you will attain Krishna and Krishna Loka. Yes. So this seeing is understanding. That is the meaning. It's not just you see Krishna, it's also understanding how to get there. So having said that, we've completed 10 and 11 chapters. I'll take a water break. In a few seconds, I will be back and we will start the 12th chapter. And we are back with the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So the last verse of the Bhagavad Gita, of the 11th chapter, ended with Krishna saying, engage in pure devotional service unto me. He's giving more details over there, right? And he's already taught us how to engage in pure devotional service unto me. And now we've just seen this very wondrous and very powerful form of the Lord has been described in the 11th chapter. And then now you're seeing the two-handed form. And someone may think that, this two-handed form is not so great. And, I must engage in, right, that, all of these opulences of Krishna, that someone may want to get into, they mistake that this awe-inspiring, this Virat Rupa, universal form of the Lord, is greater and more significant than the two-armed form, because he looks like a normal person in that. So then Arjuna is again clarifying, because someone may get misled after hearing the 11th chapter and all the opulence and the strength of Krishna. There's just a spark of his splendor. He pervades the entire universe. Someone may get bewildered. कि अच्छा ये worship करना है, क्या करना है? So then again, Arjuna is again stressing on devotional service, and he's inquiring that which is to be considered most perfect. So there are only 3 sections. There's 20 shlokas this chapter, and it's a beautiful chapter, amazing chapter. In the first section, it is established that bhakti is superior to impersonalism, worshipping the effulgence of the Lord and all these things. Direct bhakti to the two-handed form of the Lord is superior to everything else, and Krishna says that in this chapter, in the section. And then Krishna talks about the progressive stages of devotion, because not everyone is able to surrender fully or do fully. So then Krishna is telling us, okay, if you can't do this, then at least do this. If you can't do this, then at least do this. And he's giving the stages over there in text 8 to 12. And then 13 to 20 is so beautiful, where Krishna talks about all the qualities of a devotee that make him very attracted to his devotees, right? So here, text 12 is that, like, Arjuna is asking, which are considered to be more perfect? Those who are always engaged in your devotional service, or those who worship this impersonal Brahman, the Brahma Jyoti, the unmanifested form of yours? And then Krishna says in text 2 very clearly, those who fix their minds on my personal form, not all this opulence and Brahma Jyoti and light and all of this, and are always engaged in worshipping me with great and transcendental faith, are considered by me to be most perfect. Yes? And then Krishna says that, but those who fully worship the unmanifested form also, that lies beyond the perception of the senses, and they control their mind, they control their senses, etc. They are also engaged in welfare activities. They also do it very nicely. At last, after a very, very, very long time, they get me, right? And for those whose minds are attached to the unmanifested impersonal feature, it is very difficult to make progress over there, because again, there is no rasa. There is no loving exchange happening over there. And it is very difficult to make progress for those who are embodied. It was already described, 6th chapter. Right? But then he says that, but those 6 and 7, but those who worship me, giving up all their activities unto me, and being devoted to me without deviation, engaged in devotional service and always meditating upon me, having fixed their mind upon me, O son of Pritha, for them I am the swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death. Right? So bhakti is faster than all the meditations and all these other things. When we directly serve Krishna's two-handed form in his deity form at our home, and through our activities and through our life, and in the so many beautiful ways that Krishna has explained in the 9th chapter, 10th chapter, and so many different chapters, then we make progress faster, because that is easier, and that's the recommended process for those who are embodied like us. Right? And then from text 8 to 12, you can see Krishna is so compassionate. Text 8 to 12, he's so compassionate. And he's giving the different levels, right? So the topmost level is text 8, that just fix your mind upon me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus you will live in me always without a doubt. Yes? Just completely engage yourself in me, right? Fully. That's the highest stage of bhakti. Yes? Then Krishna is giving us he understands we are like distracted, we are not so interested in him, but we're still trying. And like, what if I can't do that? So then Krishna is telling in the 9th verse that, my dear Arjuna, O Dhananjaya, winner of wealth, if you cannot fix your mind upon me without deviation non-stop, then follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga, like the process of Bhakti Yoga that is given to us by the Acharyas, by Srila Prabhupada. And in this way, you will develop a desire to attain me. Correct? So he's telling, okay, you can't do this, then just follow Bhakti Yoga. Follow the steps, even if you don't feel anything. You will gradually get a desire to attain me, and gradually it will become sharper, and you will reach stage 8. अब ये भी नहीं होता आपसे. So text 10, if you cannot practice the regulations of bhakti yoga, भाई मुझसे नहीं होता, I can't do all this. Then just try to work for me. Whatever work you're doing, do it as an offering to me, as a service to me, offer the results to me. Because by working for me and becoming an instrument in the Lord's plan, you will come to the perfect stage. Correct? And then if you can't even work in consciousness of me, look at Krishna's compassion, right? Then try to act by giving up the results of your work to me and try to be self situated. Give up the results of your work, even if you don't give it to me, give up the results of your work, right? Then that's an indirect stage where finally he is the Bhoktaram Yagya Tapasam, he's the beneficiary of everything. But because some people can't see that connection, then there are some people who just engage in Nishkam karma, but it's not yoga, it's not connected to Krishna. They act without results, attachment to the results, they do a lot of charity and everything, but there's no consciousness of Krishna in that. Then he's telling, even if you can't even do this, then engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. Better than knowledge means spiritual knowledge. Better than that is meditation. And better than meditation is a renunciation of the fruits of action. Because when you renounce the fruits, you can attain peace. So Krishna is giving so many different ways. Like you can't do this, do this. You can't do this, do this. You can't do this, do this. And such a compassionate Lord that we have. And then when somebody uh, follows these things and somebody follows the bhakti yoga, then what are the beautiful qualities that the Lord blesses them with? And how the Lord becomes attracted to their qualities is what is described from text 13 to 20. Right? And these qualities don't come without practicing bhakti yoga, because you may see certain qualities in some people, but they are based on the modes. They're based on the rajagun, tamagun, and sattvagun, so they're temporary. Sometimes they behave nicely, sometimes they don't. But when a person practices bhakti yoga, all these different qualities that are being described, then they become they become permanent in the person. But again, cultivation of these qualities is not our main goal. The main goal is cultivation of bhakti, the devotional service to the Lord, right? You may become a perfect human being, but if you don't have bhakti, there's no point. But when you pursue the Lord's devotional service, the Lord automatically blesses us with these qualities. As you would have seen, somebody who's practicing Krishna consciousness, they're so attractive because they're so soft spoken, they're so nice, they are so calm, they behave themselves so nicely, they're always thinking about how to serve other people, they're honest, and things like that. So here Krishna is talking about these qualities, one who is not envious but is a kind friend to all living entities, who does not think himself a proprietor, he's free from false ego, equal in happiness and distress, tolerant, no one is put into difficulty by him, he does not disturb anyone. He's always same in happiness and distress, fear and anxiety. Such a person is very dear to me. So every verse here from 13 to 20 ends with such a person is such a devotee, such a person is very dear to me. Right? So if we want to be dear to Krishna, let us be engaged in Krishna consciousness, engaged in bhakti, the way it's described in 934, 1155, 6 uh, 32, I think 629 or 529. And like, let's engage in that, right? So when Krishna is telling that text 20, he ends and he says that those who follow this imperishable path of bhakti yoga and who completely engage themselves in faith are and making me their supreme goal are very, very dear to me. So, thus ends our summary of 10, 11, 12 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita. And we're making good progress. And today we complete the Bhakti Yoga section. Of course, I've gone very fast. Each shloka we can talk for hours. The acharyas have given so much understanding and so many commentaries and such detailed explanations for this. And if we just cover that each verse, we can talk for so many hours. But what I like to do is I like people to give a head start in the Bhagavad Gita. And I like you to get a head start into reading the Bhagavad Gita so that when I do a summary like that, and it's short, it gives some confidence to you that, oh, okay, I finished something. I at least did an overview. And then when you get attracted, like, wow, there's so much over there. And then you want to go deeper and you want to study deeper. You want to go step by step. So this is here I am, uh, s- uh, completing with you all such a beautiful way to end our holidays, to end our new year. To usher in the new calendar year and to be with all of you and read the Bhagavad Gita. So my humble request to all of you, is to please read chapters 10, 11, and 12 by tomorrow. Even if you can't read the purports, but at least read the translations, though I would wish for you to read the purports, because without Srila Prabhupada's purports, it's difficult to understand the translations. And Srila Prabhupada's purports are divine. He's a divine guru, and he's, a great devotee of the Lord. And when we read his words, we get the empowerment for us also to follow in his footsteps and follow his instructions. So please read. And then tomorrow, we will meet for chapters 13 and 14. And the day after, we will do 16, 17, and 18. 15th, you can do at your own time because the recording is already there in this playlist. So thank you very much for being here and being a part of this yagya, reading together. And Tushyanti cha Ramanti cha, what Krishna has described in chapter 10 in the Chatushloki Gita, that my devotees, they talk about, they discuss, and they great pleasure in enlightening one another about me. And that's what we have gotten a chance to do by the Lord's mercy and the mercy of the Acharyas. And it is so blissful and so pleasing to the heart. And I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Thank you very much, and Hare Krishna.